What's up, Commanders fans? Welcome into the Command Post. That's Trevor. I'm Brian. We are back. Maybe our last one before summer break. It's like the team. We're taking some time off, time away, but there's still a lot to talk about before we do that. We know training camp. We're into July. It's insane. This year is moving by so quick. We're going to be talking about real games shortly, but we're into July. Training camp is right around the corner. We're going to take a breather. Be back to talk about training camp in a couple of weeks. But before we do that, Trev, how are you doing, man? How are you feeling? How's summer treating you?
Summer's great. We got a heat advisory this week over here in Southwest Virginia, so between like 11 and 8 p.m. So I'm inside all day till tonight. I've got two work shifts left, and then
Let's
I'm on the
go.
plane to Thailand Saturday night. Cannot wait for that vacation. Other than that, summer's great, man.
Yeah,
Summer's
that's
great.
awesome. Yeah, it's hot down here in Atlanta as well. We're
Mhm.
heading up to the beach here in a little bit, but yeah, hot stuff, which means it's the dog days of summer, which means training camp. And I guess I don't even know if they do two-a-days anymore, but what used to be two-a-days, training camp around the corner. We're about a month away. We're recording this on July 1st, so a month away from the first open practice. Man, it is coming up quick. We got a lot to talk about, so let's jump right into it when it comes to the Commanders. It's a
Okay.
story that never ends. I mean, we got to address it. It's ridiculous when your team keeps getting brought up by a guy who's not on the team, aka Brandon Aiyuk. You guys know where I'm going. I don't want to harp on it too much, but you told me before this that you have a thought on the wide receiver room, and I'd
Yeah.
love to hear that.
At this point, I'm willing to take a chance on Stephon Diggs over Brandon Ayuk.
Okay, tell me why.
I don't like what Brandon Ayuk is doing. It's entertaining. It's given us something to talk about today in the middle of June, July, dog days of summer. But I don't like the way he's moving. I mean, he's on another team. No matter what the deal is, no matter what the conflict is, like you're still a part of that team. Whether you're on this list or that list, you're on that team. And at first it was like, okay, ha ha ha, it's funny. But now it's like, okay, dude, like at this point, just leave our name out of it. Like, stop saying anything referring to the Commanders because, like you said last week, it could turn us into being a somewhat of a villain in this whole thing. Stefan Diggs, on the other hand, is posting that he's working out every day. Not saying Brandon Ayuk is not, but it seems like
Yeah.
he's more focused on getting his word out than showing he still got it. So it won't doubt the man's work. We're just not seeing it with our own eyes like we are with Diggs. Um, a wide receiver, Jaden Bradley, I think, was seen working out with Diggs at the Maryland Terrapins football facility. And then at the beginning of the video, there was a Washington Commanders football. Now, Bradley probably brought that himself, but I find it very interesting that that was the very first clip to begin the highlight tape of the workout. Um, we've seen Stephon Diggs more recently in a football uniform than Brandon Ayuk. His production was going straight to the top as he always has been until
1,000
he was
yards.
until he was hurt for that injury. He was in the Super Bowl, at least part of the team that was in the Super Bowl, helped him get there. So at this point, I'm taking Stephon Diggs over Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah, man, I totally get it. I mean, I think the obvious, connecting the dots, the Easter eggs, if you will, to
Mhm.
Brandon Ayuk make a lot of sense. But I'm with you, man. Like, at what point are you nervous that this isn't just to get back at the 49ers? Is this just the way he is? And I'm not saying it is. And maybe this is all a ploy just to get
Right.
out of there. But I agree with you. I think you could have talked more openly about what happened in San Francisco without openly saying Washington or saying Commanders or like he had a football. I mean, that seems to be the Easter egg that's traveling through all these
Yeah,
videos.
that's crazier than Stephon Diggs. Diggs is a free agent.
Hmm.
Ayuk's not. So why does
Yeah,
he have a
I mean, I don't mean to ride the fence. I think I want another receiver. I'd be okay with either guy, but I understand why right now you kind of understand where you're coming from, Trev, and that Diggs makes more sense. A guy who's done it more recently on the field, doesn't have the relationship with your quarterback, but maybe that's a good thing, man. Like, have we talked about that angle? Like, is this gonna not be a distraction for Jaden Daniels, but how it might take a toll? I mean, it's definitely a thing if he's constantly being asked questions if and when Brandon Ayuk is on this team. I'd
Mhm.
like to think they would nip it in the bud, but it's not nothing. And so it's just all so strange. And maybe it's good that we're taking a break, that the team's taking a break, let this die down a little bit, maybe actually have him released, actually have him be a free agent, and then
Yeah.
there'd be something to talk about. But yeah, I get where there are a lot of red flags there, and they get weirder and weirder. I mean, we said it going on a month now. I've never seen something like this. I've never seen a player openly repping another team like that.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. And if things go wrong, what happens with the friendship or relationship between Jaden Daniels and Brandon Ayuk? What happens if we do bring him here and Brandon Ayuk, it doesn't work out and we end up cutting him because of these similar things? Does that friendship get broken? That's a lot of pressure on Jaden Daniels. He's probably being distracted right now, but he's so quiet of a guy anyway. We're not going to know. But him being as close as he is to BA, Brandon Ayuk, he's got to be like itching to say something, but he knows he can't because he's under contract with the 49ers. Diggs, on the
Mhm.
other, posting work, seems like he's more focused on the field than anything else. Hometown kid.
Yeah.
Let's see what.
Maybe this is all a moot point. Maybe we talk about it at the end of the summer and see what's happened over this month of July. Maybe something happens and it gets cleared up. And
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a lot of talking about something that is just so crazy that we haven't seen before. I also thought about this. We talked about missing Zach Ertz and Bobby Wagner. Maybe not their play on the field, although they were productive in ways last year. But
Mm-hmm.
you might miss a Zach Ertz or a Bobby Wagner if you were to bring in a guy like Brandon Aiyuk. Is there a veteran on the offensive side of the ball? I know you have Laramie Tunsil. Jaden
Yeah,
Daniels, I think, is surely a leader, but do you have that veteran who's been in the league a super long time? That's one thing that I thought about as well. Maybe that's overplayed. I don't think you necessarily need a veteran in there, but it sure would help, I would think.
for sure. I think it would help too with somebody like that. But I guess, like you said, the closest one we have would be Tunsil or Jaden Daniels, and then Jaden Daniels would be first in that race. Tunsil's already got somebody in Josh Connolly. He don't want to take on anybody else. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. The only person, and Adam Peters, but
Yeah.
he's not on the. Yeah, he's in the locker room, whatever. But he's not in the locker room. You know what I mean? He's not in the practices. He's just in the front office, making sure deals get done and stuff. So I don't know.
Absolutely. And then, it goes to Dan Quinn preaching brotherhood and culture and all that. And I don't think Brandon Ayuk has never been a bad dude. I don't want to throw that out there, but this stuff is distracting. It's not that he's a bad guy or he's saying anything super wrong, but
Right.
it's a distraction. It could be if he's in the locker room continuing this once he gets here. And it's, he puts unnecessary bullseyes on the team, hypes up that San Francisco Monday night game. I mean, there are a lot of ways it could go haywire.
Yeah. We could just not sign him and then he's stuck without a job. But somebody'll get him.
Yeah.
Either
Yeah.
somebody.
So maybe this all gets sorted out over the summer, but I get where you're coming from. Diggs over Ayuk. I mean, it's what have you done for me lately? And we've seen what Diggs has done out on the field lately. But we
Yeah.
mentioned it. Training camp is a few weeks away. The rookies report on the 24th. The vets right after them on the 28th. Fans out there on August 1st. Are you going to be out there at the August 1st practice?
There on August 1st practice. Back together weekend. I will be there.
Let's go. What man, I can't wait. It was like we're saying, like it's gonna fly by. We're already in July. We're
Mhm.
gonna be talking about real football here soon.
Mhm.
And I'm excited to see some of these battles and see these guys in pads and moving around at football speed. We heard and saw a little bit of the mini camp or OTAs and those things, but getting the pads on, seeing how these guys look out there, I
Yep.
got to imagine. I don't want to put words in your mouth. I'm excited, and I'll be several states away. You'll be right next to it. I can't imagine how you're going to feel seeing that.
I'm elated, man. Sonny Styles is going to be there. Like it's going to be it's going to be nice to see a fresh new face all around in that building. Offense, defense, coaching staff, special teams, everything. It's going to be sweet. But I'm looking forward to the names that we haven't mentioned or haven't been mentioned all summer, like the Leah Chanels,
Mm-hmm.
the I can't say his first name ever. Akello Witherspoon, the cornerback we signed from the Rams free agent. See what he can do. Amik Robertson, yeah, we see some workout videos, but I want to see how he's gonna fit because all you hear about is him as being super aggressive, but nothing really other than that. Um, so Amos hopefully is healthy enough. I can't wait to see him back. And so I just want to see some people that really haven't been in the spotlight off season for for being new to this team or what they've done in the past. But yeah, it's going to be an intense camp. I think this might be the most competitive camp just because we have some studs all the way around. Yeah, we have some holes. Every team has holes. Nobody's team is perfect. Everybody has holes. But we have some studs everywhere. So it's going to be nice to see what it looks like with the younger and faster, more aggressive defense. Because we've been used to we got the Bobby Wagner or the Zach Ertz or the John Bostics or the veterans who were good
Yeah.
and at one, but then on their way out, and Thomas Davis. So we're used to seeing that on defense, like, oh, we've got it. But no, if we just got younger and faster, and as a collective unit, we should be a lot better. So that should be really exciting to see.
I agree with you. And along those lines, I think one thing I'm going to ask you or kind of have you look out for is
Yeah.
how these teams are communicating, both the offense and the defense, with so many new parts, new coordinators, like we've talked about all summer. But you hope that the youth will add an infusion of talent and speed and excitement. But there might be some growing pains, and hopefully they can get those knocked out in July and August before September and October, when you see breakdowns in coverage like we've seen for the last 20, 25 years. I'm hoping that stuff kind of gets cut out, and that because they are young and athletic and seem to be ascending as opposed to descending, like some of those veterans you mentioned, maybe there's a chance that this defense could be really special. And we're going to talk a little bit about each unit here in a second. We saw some rankings out there, but I do think that will be interesting, because just looking at the defensive side of the ball off the top of my head, and tell me if I'm missing anybody obvious, it's Deron Payne, Frankie Louvu, Mike Samerstill, and Will Harris are probably your four main guys. I mean, Trey Amos, will he be out there? I still almost consider him a rookie. He really got like half a season. But a lot of those pieces have turned over from the defense week one last year. I mean, just that, again, off the top of my head. So there are just a lot of new pieces to plug in on Quan Martin. I kind of already put Nick Cross ahead of Quan Martin, but I agree that Quan Martin will be out there a lot. But yeah, I mean, there's only either way you slice it. This is basically a brand new defense, top to bottom.
It really is, including all the way from the defensive coordinator down.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see.
And then same thing on the offense. You're plugging in mainly a few holes that you had there. Like you said, each team has their hole, but there are going to be some gelling period. And every team in the NFL right now doesn't know what they're going to look like. It still is July. You're 2 months away from real games, but I hope to see some of that gel in there.
Yeah, and I know everything's brand new, so I'm expecting probably a few hiccups here within the first couple practices that we'll be at, or first couple practices that they have, because everything's brand new. But I know to them, they're not expecting that many hiccups. But like you said, it will be nice to see who took the summer serious and who took it not so serious with all the new faces we have and personality.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of those new faces, they got ranked. Our different units got ranked by a guy that I follow and I think does a really good job, is Warren Sharp. He kind of dives into the analytics side of things. I think he always has like a off-season guide that is just pages and pages long. Like, he knows his stuff. And so I feel like a lot of those writers, they know teams on the surface, but as compared to like fans and media nearby, they don't quite see everything. So you have to take all these with a grain of salt. But we saw that he ranked just about every position group. There are 6 position groups: running back, quarterback, wide receivers and tight ends, offensive line, the front 7, and the secondary. And then he even ranked the head coaches. And this conversation started with the running backs, because there's nobody lower than the Washington Commanders in Warren Sharp's rankings. He has the running back room at 32nd. And so I wanted to start there. I brought this up to you. We're biased. We saw what Ja'Cory Bill Krosky Merritt could do. I think we're both pretty bullish on Rachaad White. They've got Katron Allen, Penn State's all-time leading rusher, in there. A couple other veterans, Jerry McNichols coming back, Jerome Ford. I think we're pretty close. So to take a step back and see that they're ranked 32nd, what was your initial thoughts when you saw that?
I literally said to you, well, I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, we're biased, but you have to look at it from a 10,000 foot view.
Yeah, and that's what we do because we're real fans here. We know ball. Um, yeah, Rashad White's there. Cool. It's a name. He's got the experience. He's got the production. But let's be honest, nobody game plans for him. And then after that, you have Jerome Ford. You have Katron Allen, who did some things in college we haven't seen yet. Bill Krosky Merritt, who is electric, can do some things, but our running backs are not going to take the league by storm, and they're not going to put the league on notice, but they're going to do what needs to be done for us to get successful. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. It's one of those where I think as a whole, they're going to outproduce each part,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, because you look at some of the teams, we'll just start from the top. Atlanta Falcons, you think of Bijan Robinson. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
League knows him. Detroit Lions, Jahmyr Gibbs. Buffalo Bills, Dalvin Cook's little brother.
James Cook, yep.
Colts, Jonathan Taylor. Eagles, Saquon Barkley. Rams, Kyron Williams.
Blake Corum, they're a pretty good 1-2 punch as far as depth.
Niners, Christian McCaffrey. Dolphins,
Devon Chan. Yeah.
Cardinals, Jeremiah Love now. Ravens, Derrick Henry. Patriots, see, like they all have like league-wide known names. So you get to us, nobody's going to game plan for them. Nobody's going to be knowing who they are when they hear their names, but they will fit what we need to do in order for us to reach what we need to go.
Yeah, I think that I'm curious what the rankings would have been like in 2024, because you think about it, you had Brian Robinson, who solid. He'll get you anywhere from 600 to 800 yards. You had Austin Eckler, who was injury prone. And then you really had Jeremy McNichols, if I remember correctly. And maybe there was one guy I'm forgetting now on the running back room. But that wasn't super inspiring. But at the end of the year, you look at the fact that Brian Robinson has 2 touchdowns in the divisional game against the Lions. Austin Eckler has a huge catch and run against the Bucks, not to mention a bunch of big plays. Jeremy McNichols, I feel like, caught every third down pass and got the tough yardage. I'm not sure any of those guys topped 800 yards, maybe. And so, yes, I understand there's not a star there, and that kind of seems to be the focal point when you read out those names. And so to me, I agree with you. I get where he's coming from. There's not a big name. Bill was kind of sexy there for a couple of spurts, but he's not a 1A guy like the other names that you mentioned.
Yeah.
I think this could be a really good running back by committee, which is frustrating for us fantasy players, but I think it could be really good, a really good compliment to Jaden Daniels if you don't know what's coming, if you have different pieces that are working for you. So I'm not surprised, but it is what it is. 32nd in the league.
Prime example. It'd be interesting to know this, but maybe we can find another day. But the Chiefs are ranked 12th now because they have Kenneth Murray, and the Seahawks are ranked 31st because they don't have Kenneth Murray. So just imagine if those rankings would have swapped or would have been closer to what they are right now in distance. So yeah, it makes total sense.
Yep. Well, so let's keep moving on. Jaden Daniels in the quarterback room, 14th, middle of the pack. He mentioned that Jaden Daniels' numbers were down last year, not to mention the injuries. I don't really have a huge opinion there. I think Jaden Daniels could be, and when he's right, can be a top 7 quarterback. But I understand that if he's flawed and that run game is not working well, I can see where he's middle of the pack. They have him after the obvious: Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Matthew Stafford. Interesting they have Drake May there, but going to the Super Bowl, you got to tip your cap. Justin Herbert, he's another one that I think can finish anywhere. He has top 5 talent, but it is what it is. Dak Prescott, top 10. Hard not to hate on the Cowboys. I mean, yes and no. The 49ers with Brock Purdy, who's been to the Super Bowl. Green Bay Packers with Jordan Love, and then Caleb Williams and Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts and the Eagles are technically ranked 12th as well. I guess they're basically tied there. So I get it. I understand that. I think we've said it, that Jaden Daniels needs to have a big year. We need to see more of a 2024 if he's going to move up those rankings or if he's going to get the respect that he deserves.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that at all. Is this going to his 3rd year and he's ranked 14th out of 32 quarterbacks? That's not bad at all. You got Falcons down there.
No, not at all. So, yeah, I mean, I think that speaks for itself. We know what, and Jaden knows what he needs to do moving forward. This is a big year. It's a big bounce back year, big chance to get back to that rookie status. The one
Yep.
we've talked about already, the wide receivers and tight ends. The Commanders are, oh my goodness, all the way there at the bottom. The only team below them, the Miami Dolphins. So the Commanders ranked 31st. I think we've
Interesting.
said it since the Cows have come home or about to come home. They need another body in there, and I think that's obvious there. What are your thoughts on them being that low?
First of all, since we're 31 and you said the Dolphins 32, it looks like the joint practice will be the battle of the can you not hear me? You can't hear me at all? Hold on one second.
Oh, there.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, word. All right. My bad. And sorry about that, guys. My first reaction to that is you said we're 31st and the Dolphins are 32nd. It looks like the joint practice will be the battle of who gets to be 32nd when it comes to wide receiver
Yeah.
tight ends. But no, for real, makes sense. We have
Mm-hmm.
two born.
Yeah. And you hope Chigakonkwo, but there are a lot of question
Yeah,
marks.
oops. Yeah, sorry. So I mean that's all we have
I
proven.
thought you cut out for a second. No, I agree with you.
That's all we have proven for us right now is Terry McLaurin.
So yeah, that one makes a whole lot of sense to me. You hate to see it, but again, a chance for some of these guys to step up. There are a lot of unknowns. What do you get from those guys? Offensive line, kind of this is the one I might have the biggest issue with. They're ranked 22nd. I think the offensive line is actually should be a strong suit. I think the argument would be you let go of your starting center. He was getting injured, banged up. I think they're happy with Nick Allegretti as maybe as uninspiring as that is, but the other four guys are kind of set there depending on what happens with Chris Paul. But I think this could be a bigger strength, and I think they're a little bit better than 22nd. But again, a team coming off only 5 wins, they're not going to get the benefit of the doubt in a lot of these areas.
No, they're not. You're exactly right. And all the teams that are ahead of them in this category are majority playoff teams. So
Yeah,
we were 5-12 last year, so it kind of pans out. But I agree with you. I think we could crack top 20 at least. I think with the offensive line.
absolutely. I think it'll come. I think in David Blau's system, I think it seems like these guys are set up to have a success. The run game will be better, which I think will help the offensive line as well. Hopefully, Jaden Daniels stays healthy, which will also help. The front seven ranked 24th. I think this is just a classic of who knows what you have here. You have a couple of guys in Odafe Owe and Clayvon Chason who had solid years last year, but were those just contract year performances, or are these guys legit pass rushers? Not to mention, like we already said, a lot of new pieces, especially in that defensive line and that running back room. They're ranked 24th. I think that if this defense looks like and plays how we think they will, I think that'll slowly trickle up a little bit. I think they're going to get more and more respect.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's just because of the names we have on paper right now. That's what we have. That's what gives us the ranking of 24. So, like you said, it's going to be brand new. We don't know what the defense is going to look like. So,
and if Sonny Styles is a defensive rookie of the year candidate, which a lot of people think he is, I'm not just saying that bias as a Commanders fan, but you have to imagine he's got to be one of the favorites.
yeah,
That could definitely skyrocket that, because you have Frankie Louvu coming back, but then you have Leo Chenal and Sonny Styles, so 2/3 of your quote unquote starting linebackers are new. That could play a part in ranking so low. And then the final one, this one I'm not surprised by at all. Another 31 ranking the secondary. So we have Trey Amos,
number 32,
Mike. Yeah. Oh, who is number 32?
the Miami Dolphins. So
Oh man,
I'm telling you guys, joint practice, that one's going to be amazing to be a part of.
yeah.
And witness.
You really have to. I guess you can't put too much stock in winning or dominating a joint practice, but I think you could be a little concerned if the Commanders look outplayed by the Dolphins, who look to be one of the worst teams on paper going into the year. But go ahead.
I think, yeah, I agree with you on that. But for us on this year, I think we can because it's so new. So let's see if our new defense can dominate a team that's also going through new changes in the coaching staff as well. They have a new offensive coordinator. So
Yeah.
that practice is going to be really interesting if you think about it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but that's going to be a good practice.
I agree. And you see where you are as a relatively new team, similar to what the Dolphins I think are in a new era with a new head coach, Jeff Hafley, I believe.
Yep.
Um,
New quarterback.
and yeah, a new quarterback. You should hopefully be a little bit better than them, a little bit ahead. But you're right, there are a bunch of new pieces, and then I think it's good that you then also have the Ravens, who are a little bit more established,
Yeah.
despite a new coach, but they have their quarterback in place. They've had their core in place for a while. I agree. That's a great point that these joint practices are going to be a big litmus test for this team.
Yeah. It's like a preseason before preseason.
And if you do get your butts whooped, it doesn't matter because they're not keeping score and it doesn't count towards your record. So that's the best part. It's a win-win.
Get ready for practice to be a little bit harder next week.
That's right. So anyway, we know that Trey Amos, Mikey Samaras still Trey Amos coming off the injury, Mikey Samaras still up and down, but he does lead you in interceptions, I think, for the second straight year. No more Marshawn Lattimore. You brought in Amik Robertson, Akella Weatherspoon, like you said. And then the safeties we talked about a little bit. Will Harris coming back, hopefully fully healthy. Nick Cross, the hometown guy, coming back to the DMV. And then Quan Martin still out there. So I understand why the secondary is so low. There's not really a name that really inspires you. It is what it is. Maybe if you had gotten Christian Gonzalez over Emmanuel Forbes, crazy concept. I'm not gonna. I'm sorry to even crack that door open, but the lack of names again are kind of like the running backs. I think kind of rearing its ugly head with this ranking.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think once our front seven, if they can be unleashed in the way that we anticipated, then that secondary could probably elevate too. Because if you have a great pass rush, you can have a mediocre secondary.
Absolutely. And then I think this one was interesting to me, and I like that he's still ranked a little bit higher. Not that it's great, but the head coach Dan Quinn ranked at 22nd. He says here that he dropped from 13th, obviously after a 12-5 season to have as bad of a season as they had last year. I get it. It says reflecting the defensive struggles despite his track record. He's right. Dan Quinn has been a defensive guy. The fact that the defense was so bad and Jaden Daniels really covered up a lot his rookie year. You could probably pick that apart and see how bad they were in 2024 as well. Yeah. This is a big year for Dan Quinn. Durante Jones, handpicked by him. He let go of Joe Witt Jr., who was his first guy coming to Washington. Big year for the defense. Big year for Dan Quinn, not to mention changing offensive coordinators. It's a make or break year for this team. It's a make or break year for the guy with the headset on.
Yeah, it's been reported that or rumored out there he's kind of on the hot seat this year, which NFL stands for not for long. And that's what happens when you make it to the NFC Championship your first year as the head coach and then don't even make the playoffs or even come close in the conversation with that the next year. The hot seat becomes a little hotter than normal in year 3 than for others. So I'm cool with that ranking too.
I'm going to spin it in an optimistic way. I have to feel that if he has to know that, right? Like, I mean, it's obvious that you had a bad year. It couldn't be much worse. And the fact that he's willing to totally revamp both sides of the ball lets me know, A, he's aware of it, and B, he's confident enough in these two guys to make that happen. You don't do that in a hot seat year, to me, because it would have been easy to have Cliff Kingsbury come back, try to recapture the magic of 2024. I like the fact that he made changes, and I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt there.
Or is this something's got to happen or else I'm out of here? So he just threw all his marbles in and said everything's going to change from my last go around and see what happens, and then if it doesn't work out.
You could be right. I mean, again, we said we're not going to talk about 2025 anymore. We know how bad it was, but you can't run it back the same way regardless. So I'm happy that they're making changes. If they had just stayed status quo, I would have been ready to just kind of set sail on this season already.
Yeah, if we were 5-12 2 years in a row instead of 12-5 and then 5-12, this move would be like, all right, now it's time for a change. It wouldn't be so hot seatish, I think. But you went to the NFC East Championship, dude, and it sucks that that's what it is. We love for you going there. We love it, but it might be a little notch on your. I don't know. It's tough. NFL's crazy.
Yeah, this is the talk you're going to get from the command post. We're going to keep it real. We love our team, but you got to be real. And these rankings, sadly, after a bad year, they make a lot of sense. There are a lot of question marks, but I think in the next month with training camp, 2 months from now when the season starts, a lot of these will be answered. and Trev and I will be there every step of the way. Like we said at the beginning, we're going to take a couple weeks off, enjoy the summer. There's hopefully not a lot going on. Maybe there'll be a new wide receiver. Maybe this ranking will go up a little bit based on a signing here or there, but we will be back at it in a few weeks. Trev, take it home, but also have safe travels, my friend.
I appreciate you, Brian. Yeah, it's time for vacation. Go enjoy summer. There's nothing going on in the NFL right now, so just turn your phone off or look at something else. Enjoy life for the next few weeks because we're going to be back at it hard and heavy with training camp, new faces, new times, new places, but same place for everything Commanders.
Man, see you next time.
Peace.
One goal in mind, through every challenge, through every fight, we stand.